Good morning, students. For today's session we have Nagraj sir with us. Nagraj sir, you can proceed with the class, sir.
Thank you so much, Kunal. A very good morning. Kunal, can you please confirm if you're able to see my Excel
Yes, sir.
sheet?
Right now, seat is visible, sir.
Oh, okay, done. So, uh, a very warm welcome to all the students. So, as usual, we'll quickly have a recap of whatever happened yesterday. In the second half of yesterday, we discussed a very generic topic, which is which is not there in your course content. But this, I just thought probably this could be of very good information for you people, at least to know how things are working in the live SAP environment. So yesterday we discussed the life cycle of a SAP project. So even before that, we understood what were the nature of the SAP projects. So basically, you can have these four kinds of SAP projects. All right, one is the implementation, the other one is the upgrade, rollout, and the support projects. So yesterday we had a look at the implementation steps, which is called as the methodology followed by SAP is the ASAP methodology. Clear? So when Mr. Balaji will discuss about the HANA topic, what he will do is he will discuss the other life cycle steps, which is specific to the HANA implement. It's more or less the same. The meaning remains the same. Like I said, see, I have written down 5 steps. So these 5 steps could be different from the other literature, what you probably could look at. Probably if you get another literature regards the same topic, instead of initial preparation, it could be something else. Requirement gathering or initial discussion, project discussion, whatever. But by and large, the meaning of or the steps involved in this particular phase of the project is the same. Do not worry. This particular topic I am going to discuss once again, maybe at the end of the session, where we are supposed to meet for 3 weeks, right? So maybe say in the mid of the 3rd week or something, I'll again have a recap of this particular methodology. ASAP methodology, accelerated SAP methodology. This is what it is called. Clear? So what is this ASAP methodology? It is the life cycle of an SAP project, typical to your implementation projects. Now, what is an implementation? Implementation is the activity where there are 2 companies involved. One is the company which is going to implement SAP. The other company is your client. So here I have taken 2 examples. One is the IBM, or it could be Accenture, it could be Deloitte, it could be whatever. Whichever company is implementing, that becomes the consulting team or the implementing team. The other company which is going to bring in SAP is called as the user company or the client. So here X Limited becomes our client. So for whom we are going to implement SAP. So basically your consulting company will constitute a team of consultants. I think by now you should be, or rather you would be comfortable in understanding who a consultant is and what his roles and responsibilities are. Correct? And the company which is implementing SAP, they consist a team of the users. The users are simply the users of the SAP system. Simple meaning, nothing beyond that. Clear? Now, so here in the initial preparation phase, what happens? All the project discussion starts from here. What is the business of X Limited? How do I pick up the requirements? How is each and every department working? What is the connectivity between the departments? How do I address those issues? Can X Limited or does the business of X Limited really need SAP? Can X Limited afford SAP? Clear? So all these points are discussed. The charges of the consulting company is also discussed. What should be the costing? Okay. So after all the discussions and when both the companies, they are very clear about the implementation of SAP, they go about to the next phase. So the project lifecycle moves to the next phase. That is your PBP, business blueprint. Okay. So what typically does it happen? What does happen here? In the business blueprint, the detailed discussion of whatever has happened in the first step, they get documented. It is the Bible of the project. That's exactly what we call in the SAP terms, the Bible of the project, and it is one of the most confidential of the documents in our SAP career. We are not supposed to share this outside of the organization or to any other person, even within the organization. We as consultants, we are not supposed to share. Yeah. So your business blueprint phase is the phase where all the requirements, they get documented as a book or as a Bible. Now, what is the significance of this particular document? Now, each and every page of this document is signed by both the companies. The respective heads of the projects of both the companies, they sign on each and every page of this document. Why? Why do they require to sign on each and every page? The reason being, there should be a clear understanding of the requirements and the deliverables. Meaning, what is exactly required by X Limited and what can be exactly delivered by the consulting company. Both these are to be documented and agreed upon by both the parties. Now, after the discussion and after converting the discussion into the document, what will happen? Now, the consulting company will now start working on the SAP environment. Because what is the requirement? Whatever is the requirement of X Limited must be converted into SAP. So that is what exactly happens in the realization phase of the project. So the consulting team converts all the requirements of X Limited into SAP. And here there are also certain other concepts which I will discuss. All right. Now, in the final preparation, this was the most interesting and the most critical phase for any consultant. Why is this particular step so very challenging for a consultant? Here, the main activity to be done here by the consultants, by the respective consultants, is movement of the data, movement of both the master data and as well as a transactional data from the non-SAP system to the SAP system. And why is it very, very challenging? It is simply because each and every activity is time bound. You are given certain time within which you will definitely have to deliver the result. There is no question of pushing the deadline. No, it doesn't happen in the live projects at all. You will have to sit overnight. The consultants, they actually work in shifts. We have done it. Yes, we have done it. So we have not even taken enough rest for maybe say 3-4 days continuously, especially during this particular phase of the project, because it is so very critical, because the movement of the non-SAP data is very challenging. And how do you move the data? I will simply give you an insight into it after I complete the recap. Go live. So once when all the data and all the requirements of X Limited has moved into the SAP system, all right, there is a go live date. Go live meaning by what date should the SAP system be ready for the employees of X Limited to start working to carry out their routine work. Clear? This is exactly the date is fixed, and we as consultants, we will all be working towards this date. Clear? And on the go live date, what happens? Both the heads of the organizations, they will be present in this particular event. As I said yesterday, it is actually a function. It is an event which is going to be celebrated because the consulting company will be adding another project to its list of successful implementations, whereas X Limited will be happy to start using the SAP system. Yeah. Now, once, and what happens exactly in this phase, in the go live phase, there will be a simple transactions which will be checked, and the SAP system is announced that it has gone live. After the transaction gets executed or gets saved in the SAP system successfully, both the heads of both the companies, they declare that SAP is now successfully implemented and can be used. This is the gist of how the project is carried out in SAP. Moving on, we also discussed about something called as a support role. What is the support? How does this come into picture? When does this come into picture? Now, you have implemented SAP, okay, on the 1st of September 2024, X Limited has already gone live. Okay, I'm assuming that we have crossed September 2024, and I've also assumed that X Limited has gone live on the SAP system. Now, overall, can we assume that there will be no problems or issues while operating upon the SAP system? Won't the users of X Limited, won't the employees who are using the SAP system in X Limited, will they not have any issues? Will they not come across any problems while carrying out their routine operations? Of course, the training of the end users will happen here itself. in the final preparation phase, as I said, the training of the end users is also carried out. No doubt about it. Clear? But can we assume that X Limited will face no other issues tomorrow? Or will they not have any requirements after 6 months, after 3 months, after 1 year? They would want to make more and more use of the SAP system, and their requirements would also grow tomorrow in any form. In any form. So who's going to take up those issues? The implementing team has gone. Clear? The people who have implemented the SAP system, they have already gone and moved on to another project. Now there has to be a set of people who can support or who can understand the issues of the users and provide them with solutions. This is your support role. Right? This also is discussed. How the supporting will be done will also be discussed in this phase itself. All the points, starting from the scratch, from the initial step of the project to the last step, and how are we going to be supported. All these points are discussed at the top level in the very first stage itself. All right. Now, so yesterday I was discussing the issues raised by the users could be of high priority, medium priority, or low priority. Okay. So now, so I also gave you an example of what could constitute or what could be the examples of high priority issues or tickets. Yeah, I've also given you the alternate name for the issues or the problems faced by the employees. They're also addressed to as issues. So how is, and each one of the issue is also time bound. Within what period of time the consulting or the support team will provide the solution to the issue raised by the user. That also is measured by time. Clear? So normally the high priority issues, they are to be solved by the consultants within this 4 to 5 hours. The medium priority issues can take up to say even 2 to 4 days or even 5 days. So any issue which is categorized as a low priority in the sense which is not going to affect the business to a great extent. These operations on the SAP system can take time. For example, change in the report format. I'm just giving you a very small example. So these changes in the report can be taken care of a little later also. Yeah? So I'm just giving you a very small example. There could be other issues which could be of low priority, and there could also be other issues, but high priority issues, they are very, 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 very critical. They have to be resolved within 4 to 5 hours. I don't think I have even worked for, 5 hours. No, it is actually 4 hours only. Anywhere between 2 to 4 hours, the issue should be resolved. And the typical example was, or rather a typical business example could be vendor not getting paid. Yeah. So when the vendor is not paid, he will stop the supplies. So what happens if you do not have the raw materials? Your entire business will come to a standstill. So this is exactly what we were discussing. Here, actually, even before I conclude this topic, I wanted to discuss about the geography of the project. What do I mean by geography of the project? The geography of the project is alternatively also called as landscape. Now I will just add one more line to this and will not discuss on this further. How the servers are arranged. It is all what you need to know. Landscape or the geography of the project is how the servers are arranged in the project. So what is a server? How many types of servers? I will talk to you a little later, or maybe when I handle this topic the next time. For now, you simply have to know what is a landscape. This also is a typical SAP term, but do not worry too much on this. What is landscape? You just have to know what is a server arrangement in the project. So what is a server arrangement? Everything will be in one place, no? That would be your question. Actually, there are different kinds of servers in SAP, which I'm going to discuss a little later. OK, but I want to bring in certain terminologies which would make you feel comfortable. And if I explain more about this, probably it could lead to a lot more confusion or distortion in understanding the subject, which I don't want to do. OK, I'll leave it here. All you have to know is how are the servers, SAP servers arranged. OK, it is not like table 1, table 2, table 3. No, it is not like that. OK, I will explain this in detail once when we have a deeper insight into the SAP system. Perfect. Now, I think Madam will be discussing about the energy portal. This is how you are supposed to log into your course content or whatever it is. This is how. So we have already discussed about the login pad or the logon pad of the GUI, whatever it is. So basically, Madam will explain, will be taking you through this. After you have, there are two things. One is the SAP server on which you're going to work, the SAP system, because as a consultant, I could be working on more than one project at one point in time. Yes, this invariably happens. You should not be surprised that if I'm working on more than one project at one point in time. Yeah. So even if I'm working on only one project, I will be working on different servers based on what role I'm going to play. I'm a consultant, no doubt about it. OK, but what is the activity under what authority that I'm going to carry out that activity depends. So each project may have different servers. Or so that is called as a SAP system on which SAP server for which project I'll be working on. And for each one of these servers, for each one of the systems, I would be given my own user IDs and the password. So there are three things about logging into your SAP system. There are three things. One is bringing in the logon pad. The second one is you're supposed to understand what is a server which you will be working on, what SAP system. So yesterday, if you remember the ZME, something you saw on the demonstration slide. Okay, and you saw on my system, when I took you to my system, we saw some ER2 or something, right? So this is your SAP system. So project one, I could have one system called as project one. I could have another system called project two. I can have another system called project three. Okay, because I'll be working on multiple projects. So this is your system, SAP system. Now, for each individual system, I would be having my user IDs and my unique or my confidential password. Yeah. So these are the three concepts, or these are the three things which you will be needing. Okay. So don't worry, you'll be taken to this particular topic a little later, probably. Okay. So this is what you need to know. Okay. If you have to successfully work on the the SAP system, on the live SAP system, you need to have all this. I'll talk about this later. I'll talk about this later. All right. Now, just a moment. Just give me 2 minutes. Just a moment, please. Let me just check my SAP system. Just hold on. Okay. I need to still wait for my SAP system. So now, so even before we get back to the basic things, now whatever we were waiting for, SAP Finance. So we will straight away get into our module. All right. So we will talk about SAP FI. Kunal, I'll just have a look at the Q&A section. Let me see if I can take up any questions.
Okay, sir. Just hold on, sir.
Kunal, again I see Hindi में समझा दो.
Sir, let it be. Because someone is saying Hindi, someone is saying English. It's not possible for some.
Qualitative or quantitative ASAP methodology? I didn't understand the question. I see that there are a few questions on how one has to become a consultant. See, the consultant becoming a consultant needs a lot more, what should I say? Lot more understanding of the SAP system. Okay, here you will be no doubt getting a few concepts of SAP. Okay. So that requires a different kind of a approach to the SAP, to learning, or to the learning itself, to learning of SAP itself. And some of the institutes, they are certified by, they are authorized by SAP Germany itself to carry out something called as a certification courses. SAP practical, just hold on. I will be starting it as early as possible. Okay. How do you become a consultant? You have certification exams to be cleared. This is being governed by SAP Germany itself. Okay. And for you to take up this certification examinations, you need to have a very good knowledge about the SAP system itself. So what am I trying to tell you? You need to spend some time on the SAP system. You need to work on the SAP system. On the live SAP system, you need to start working. The more time you spend on this SAP system, the more confident you will be. Okay. For being an end user, you need not have to clear any examinations. All you need to know is the how the SAP system works from the working per se. See, now your course is designed only for that. How do you move around? Navigation. What are the functions that you can carry out as an end user? Yeah. So for becoming an end user, you need not have to have any kind of a professional training or anything like that. But whereas to become a consultant, you need to have a professional coaching, and you will be having the certification examinations conducted by SAP Germany, which you need to clear. I think the passing mark is around 60% or something. And I'm both FI and CO certified, for your information. Okay. So this is about you being a consultant and you being an end user. So I just happened to read a question whether one has to become an end user to become a consultant. Not really required. You don't have to be an end user to become a consultant. No, not at all. I wasn't an end user. I cleared the certification examination and straight away I started my career at IBM. Okay. So I had a certification, valid certification from SAP Germany. So I was an employee of IBM and I started working as a consultant. All right. So there was also another question as to when are we going to start the practical SAP? I think the day has come, maybe say today or tomorrow. I will take you into the SAP system and make you understand what exactly and how easy or how difficult it is for you to work on the live SAP system. All right. Was there any other question, Kuna, which I have missed out?
Sir, I'm going through the questions. Let me check.
Okay, madam. Yeah. Madam, I think your volume is a little low.
Sir, is it audible now?
Better, madam. Better. Yeah.
Okay, okay, sir. Just a moment.
And one more point, what I would like to add here is for you to take up the certification examinations, SAP Germany has identified certain institutes in India, in Bangalore. Okay, you need to approach only those kind of institutes for you to take up this examinations. There are many other local institutes also, but they will not be providing you with the valid SAP certification. All right. So whenever you want to start looking out for certification examinations, please ensure that you are joining a place where it is authorized by SAP. All right.
So,
Yes, madam.
the one question is there. Assuming XYZ company's implementation projects is going on, and it might take 2 years for the company to go to
Okay.
go live. Which program are they supposed to use in the meantime?
Whatever they were using earlier before SAP. The non-SAP system, whatever they were using before the implementation started, they're going to carry forward with the same system. They are not going to totally abandon, right? Because they'll have to produce their financial results with or without SAP. So earlier they were carrying out without SAP. The same thing they will carry on. Yes, madam. Please do not assume that once the implementation work starts, the other software which they were using totally is discarded. No, please do not assume that. Okay, the parallel system will keep working until and unless the whole of the SAP system is up and running. All right, I think I hope I was clear on that. Yes, madam, I am ready for the other questions. Madam, you are able to hear to me?
Yes, sir. Yes. Just a
Okay,
minute, sir.
fine. No problem. I thought I had lost out on my network. I'm
No,
always
no,
frightened of that now.
yes. Sir. Yes, sir. No more questions as of now.
Okay, but I could see a lot of questions also repetitive.
Yeah, repetitive is there. That's what.
Yeah. Madam, would you take on from here or would you want to?
Okay, just a moment, sir.
Sure.
Check. Let me check.
You tell me whenever you are comfortable, ma'am. That should not be a problem.
Yes, sir. Maybe 12 o'clock, sir. I'll take
Sure.
it.
Okay. Done. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Sir.
Yeah. So I could see a lot of enthusiastic questions. Very good. So some people were asking about the certification. Some people were asking about end users. Okay, that's good. But becoming a consultant is a different thing altogether. Okay, you need to spend lots and lots of time even before you even think of taking up the certification examinations. You need to be very well you need to be very well prepared. Preparation should be excellent. Okay, and it will be quite challenging, but the role also will be equally challenging. Once you get into the role of a consultant, it is also equally challenging. You're supposed to face lots of challenges in your SAP career. And once more, it's a cautionary thing. Many institutes may promise that they will be giving the certification, but first try to understand what kind of a certification are they going to provide. Is it going to be straight from SAP Germany? Okay, right. Now, let us get into, I will be getting into the live SAP system. Somebody was very eager to see the live SAP system. Okay, definitely I'll be taking you through that in a short while. Maybe in the second half, I can start. Now, what exactly is our purpose of this particular sessions? For us to understand the SAP FI model. And I think I spoke about the criticality of this module, FI module, simply because, see, we spoke about the integration powers of SAP. Each and every module in SAP, sometime or the other, definitely interacts with the FI module. We saw the examples of a few business cycles, your purchase cycle, your sales cycle, your HR cycle, your production planning cycle. So they all have an integration with the FI module. They always talk to the FI module. And that is exactly the reason as to why the FI module becomes very, 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 very critical. And that is the first and the most critical modules which gets implemented in any of the SAP projects. Because as I said, what is business? Inflow and outflow of money. Whether you purchase, whether you sell, whether you produce, whatever you do, it all involves money. So how is money managed? Who manages the money side of the business? The finance people. Similarly, you have the SAP finance module doing exactly this particular role. And over a period, when a consultant, when an FI consultant puts in enough experience, maybe say he spends 2-3 years in 1 or 2 projects. So as and when he gets experienced in the field of SAP consulting, I mean, he would also is expected to start expanding himself or trying to get familiar with the other modules also, and especially with the CO module, which is close enough to your finance module. So, see, logically speaking also, who else can take care of your management reporting, management accounting? It is only your finance people. So here also, an SAP FI person is also expected to pick up the CO side of SAP also during his course of his project. Okay, you can have, you should also, you're expected, in fact, you are expected to learn the controlling side of SAP also. And in very interesting, I will just share one of my project experiences. We were supposed to learn, we were supposed to have a good knowledge about the PS module also in one of the projects. What is PS? Project systems, where basically this project systems module had more of talking to be done with the controlling module, with the management accounting module than your finance module. So did you see the challenge? So each project is a learning for any of the consultant who's serious enough to build a very good career in SAP. All right. So this is one of the typical examples where you need to continue on with your learning. You cannot keep quiet or you cannot be relaxed because you know SAP FI and you're working on a project. Absolutely no. The next project could be, you could be put into a project where you're expected to be a CO consultant. Yeah. But of course, it doesn't apply to the other modules. MIM, SD, you're not supposed to be an FI and MM consultant also. No. Only the related modules. I'm talking about only the related modules. Whatever is related to finance. But all the modules within the SAP system, they always talk to the finance module. And that is exactly the reason as to why the SAP finance module is very, very, very critical, very, very, very important. So what has SAP finance module got for us? How does SAP finance module actually work in SAP? Okay, let me read. Now, in one of the slides, we saw that the finance module in SAP gets broken down into various submodules. There are various other things, travel management, you have your banking, you have various. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just going to talk about only these things which are frequently have to be understood in SAP Finance. So your finance module constitutes majorly these following submodules. Okay. So slowly, what do we learn in general ledger? What do we learn in accounts payable? What do we learn in accounts receivable? What do we learn in asset accounting? Slowly and steadily, we'll keep looking in this. More so from the end user perspective, because that is exactly the aim of this course. But I will also talk to you about the consulting side of all these areas. And we are also going to see very minor side of the CO module also. Because this is a management accounting module, which is the responsibility of the finance people. So we are also going to look at the controlling side of SAP also. Very brief. Okay. Now, how does the working of any module start? So you have SAP FI module, you have CO module, you have MM module, you have SD module, you have PP module, you have PS module. What is the basic structure on which all these things they actually trigger? They actually start. All your modules, they start with something called as organizational structure. So once you become an employee, once you get into a professional side of your life, or people who have already started working, in your organization, what is the hierarchy? You report to your manager reports to his manager reports to his manager. So the hierarchy is maintained, the reporting hierarchy. Something very similar happens to each and every module in the SAP system. So the finance module has its own organizational structure. The controlling module has its own organizational structure. The production planning module has its own organizational structure. The material management module has its own organizational structure. The SD module, sales and distribution module, it has its own structure. Yeah. So this is nothing but how each and every module is organized within SAP. It has certain components on which probably I can tell you that this particular structure is how the data flows within the particular module, how the data flows from one place to another. That is exactly your organizational structure. Clear? I will take. Now, I will take you through the course content. Just give me some time. And I will show you how SAP addresses this particular organizational structure. So even before we enter into the live working, you will have to be very familiar with some of the things which I'm talking about now. Just hold on. Just a moment. Just hold on. So somebody was asking, when do we start looking at the live SAP system? So even before we get into the working of the live SAP system, we'll have to understand the organizational structure, but just to have a look at how the live SAP system looks like. Yesterday, I think we have seen this is your topic, second topic, SAP ERP navigation. And this you should be very familiar. This is your course content. You have, it always starts with an objective. That's what we were discussing yesterday. So this is your log on screen. OK, this is your last step. So after your GUI, after your launchpad, after you get your system credentials, you have your user credentials. OK, I will take you to the live SAP system. Don't worry. This is just for, so you have a demo and a practice, which we went through yesterday. So here I'm going to take you through all the screens. Don't worry. I just wanted to this is all on the live SAP system, which I'm going to show it to you. Do you see something called as organizational elements? You see something called as a client, controlling area, company code. What do we mean by all this? This typically is your organizational structure. You see something called as your, OK, you see so many things on the right. The ones highlighted: client, controlling area, company code, organizational unit. OK, I will take you to another screen. You remember we were talking about something called as a master data, transactional data. Don't worry, I'll explain that again, not a problem. Integration, I'm not going to touch. I'm going to talk to you about this. Procure to pay cycle. I'm going to talk to you about all this, not to worry. I'm just skipping the topics for now. Order to cash, we have already discussed this, but only from the hire to retire. At least the terms we are aware of. These are all the business cycles. I'm going to discuss this in detail when we at the appropriate time. Now is our topic. Your SAP finance module. Just hold on. I'll be talking to you about all these things, not to worry. See, there are so many concepts. You're able to see that. I'm just skipping all this. I'll be talking to you about all this. I don't know why I'm not able to find that particular screen, what I want.
Hello.
Yes, madam.
Yes, sir.
You want to take over, madam?
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Sir, you are done with the explaining, sir?
Madam?
You are done with the explanation, sir, for this?
Yes, madam. I was looking at a particular slide.
Okay.
No problem, madam. You can take over. Not a problem.
Okay. So actually, the students have got some credentials for
Okay.
Energy with their new students.
Not a
So
problem. Not a,
yeah.
yeah.
So I
You can
just
take
wanted
over.
to walk
I will
them
stop
through.
sharing. I
Yes,
will stop sharing.
yes.
Yes, madam.
So
I have
just
stopped sharing.
sir, just keep yourself unmuted only, because once I share the screen, I wanted to confirm if the screen is visible.
Sure, madam. Yeah, I have stopped sharing, madam.
Okay, I'll just share this. So is the screen visible now?
Yes, madam. Yeah, it is.
Okay. So now this screen is there wherein you'll be actually, I'll explain you students. This energy with their credentials are sent only to new students. Okay. So though these students might have received the credentials yesterday itself. So I'll tell you how it is done. Okay. You have to log in to Energy Vidya. I've already logged in. I'll log out and I'll show you. If any issues with regarding your uh, credentials, just let me know. What is happening is now I already have logged in with my credentials. So once you will receive a mail, your it will be the registration ID. So you have to put your registration number, and the email ID will be shown here below. Okay, one moment. Let me see if I can. Here. See, here it will come registration ID, your registration number, which is there, you have to type, and the email address. And then you have to submit. Once you submit, what will happen? This you have to generate your password also. Okay. Once you submit, you have to generate your password. Once you generate your password, it is alphanumeric. That is one special case, one special character, one small letter, one uppercase letter, one small case letter, and then numbers and special characters. So it should compile of all these, and then you have to generate your new password. So once your password is generated, you have to just type your email address, which is there. Okay. And then your password, which you have created. So once you create, I have different programs. So once you create, this screen will appear here. Okay. This is skill training SAP for CMA intermediate students. What you have to do is go here in the learning materials. Then there is SAP. In SAP below, see students, you have to check once, check your spam folder. One mail might have come directly from SAP. We do not send mail from SAP. The mail comes directly from the SAP. One mail might have come in your inbox. Check your inbox is called spam folder. So I'll show you how that mail will be. This kind of mail might have come. I'll zoom in and let you. Dear so and so, this is your, yes, this kind of mail might have come, and your account. This will be a P user number, P for parent. P user number, it is a unique number given to each and every student. So this will be a P user number which will be given to you. This is masked as if because a certain P user number was given. So this cannot be to each and every student has a different or unique P user number. So what you have to do is just check the P user number. Then it is then you have to go to access SAP Learning Hub. If you're not able to access the SAP Learning Hub, then do one thing. You have to click on, yeah. Once you click on SAP Learning Hub, then go to the help document also if you can. Here you can see Learning Hub. If you're not able to go from that access, just hold on for a moment. Just hold on. Hello. Yes, sorry, students. Just a moment. Nagraj sir, is my voice audible?
Yes, madam. Perfect.
Okay.
No problem.
Sorry, there was someone at the row, so
Yeah.
just a moment. So students, this type of mail will come. You have to go to access SAP Learning Hub, or else there is one. I don't know if you are able to see. Sir, are you able to see this energy with your screen? Na?
Yes, madam. Visible. Yeah.
So Learning Hub below. Just a moment. Just a moment. Yes, this is visible. I can see that. Okay. So students, directly go here. If you're not able to log in from that Access Learning Hub, directly go here. Then here you can log in. So what you have to do is you have to log in. You have to, once you log in, show you. Once you log in, so once you log in, now what will happen is it will ask for this. Click here to register for the first time. You have to register. Type the P user number which you get. Okay. Type the P user number here and continue and register. Okay. So what will happen is here all these things will come. I think so it might have come to you. All the names. You have to generate your own password. That's it here. Generate and re-enter your password and then register. Now it will take you again to the Learning Hub screen. Go to Learning Hub screen. Then type your P user number which you have received and type your generated password here. And then click on log on. Once you log on, such a screen will appear. The screen will appear with your name. Okay. So once the screen appears, go here, learning content. Go below, there is browse content. What you do is after you browse the content, then click here to search for the content. Here, this screen will appear, such a screen will appear, this type of screen. So here you find courses. And what is the name of the course? FICO Business Process Course Power User. Type it here out at the left-hand top side. And then click Go. Once you click Go, such type of screen will appear here. Okay, so here FICO Business Process Course, click on Continue Course or Start Course. Here it was already, course was started. Here the message will come as Start Course. So once you start the course, this course content will come and then you have to click it. That start the course and then you have to click it or continue course. Then once this is there, such type of screen will appear. Wait for 2 minutes. You do not touch anything. Just wait for 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, this type of screen will appear. That is of the course content. For the course content, this type of screen will appear and you have to navigate through it. How sir had shown it to you, the way you have to navigate. So this is an audio visual course content. That means you can hear the speaker is here. This is a speaker mode wherein you can hear the course content, as well as if you do not want to hear it and you want to go through the course content as per the study material, then you can go through that. And you have to navigate. See here. Navigation button is there. You have to click on whichever topic you want and then you have to write. Okay, I hope this is clear. Sir, Nagraj sir?
Yes, madam.
So was it clear, sir?
Perfect, madam. Yeah.
Okay. So I stop sharing the screen now.
Sure, madam.
Yes. Now you can share the screen, sir.
Sure. Madam, do you think it makes sense for us to take a 3 to 5 minutes break now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure. You
Okay.
just share the Excel sheet so that screen is not left blank.
Sure, madam. I'll do.
Yes.
We'll meet by 12:18 or something like that.
Yes, sir. Now it's 12:13. So 5 minutes, we'll meet by 12:18. We'll take a
Sure,
short
ma'am.
break.
Thank you so much. And
Okay.
students, just go through whatever has happened. Come back to me with questions. And this break is basically for that, for you to just reassemble your thoughts and come back to us with more questions. Okay. Yes, I think we can start now. So the backbone for every module you talk about in SAP starts with the organizational structure. This, as said, how the data is moving within the SAP system. Yeah, I will just to give you an example or what are the new terms that you are going to be exposed to. Clear? I will be taking you to my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, then I will look for the same thing in your study content and I will show you where exactly it is starting all these terms where you can see in your course content. So I'm just going to share. Can somebody please confirm if they are PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, sir.
Oh, perfect.
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Yeah. Now, can you see that you have started seeing something very new? You're seeing something called as a client, you're seeing something called as an operating concern, controlling area, company code, plant one. What is all this? These are all the building blocks or the organizational structure or the backbone for any SAP module. Each and every module in SAP is basically constructed on these building blocks. Now, how much of them are applicable to SAP Finance? See, obviously, the plant, what you see at the bottom. I hope you are able to see the screen clearly. Just hold on. I'm going to change the view. I think this is a better view. I'm just going to go to that slide. All right. You can see something called as plant 1 and plant 2, plant 3. What is all this? So necessarily, some of the components, they belong to the other modules. For example, the plant. What is a plant? It is nothing but the place where the production takes place. Typically, the language used by the material management people and the production planning people. But what is it in the regular business? It is a place of production where the products are produced. Fair enough. Now, when I took you to the SAP screen, you saw that there was something called as a client. There was some number 200. I hope you remember. I will show you, not a problem. That is the first and the foremost information which I provide to the SAP system to effectively start working to allow me the access into the SAP system. This is the first basic information I give. The client. Can you see something on top? The client. So what is a client? Now, the earlier client, what I was using, that was in respect of the customer. But this client, what I'm talking about, is a little technical in nature. It is the space within the SAP system which is allotted to individual users. Clear? If you know that, it is more than enough. This is called as a client. I'm going to skip what is an operating concern. The controlling area. This also is a very, very important block in the building block in the organizational structure of FI. So, okay, I will just stop here and I will straight away go to the company code. What is a company code? You will be hearing this each and every time we talk about SAP, especially if you're talking about SAP Finance. We will definitely keep talking about the company code, not once, not twice, but n number of times. Because all your finance activities or your whole project starts with what is the meaning of something called as a company code. What exactly do you mean by a company code? In our normal business terms, it is the company for which you are implementing SAP. If I'm implementing SAP for X Limited becomes the company code. So what normally you call in your normal language as a company is called as a company code in SAP. I hope you got the relation. If I'm implementing SAP for Hindustan Unilever is going to be called as a company code in SAP. From now onwards, you will start hearing or you will be coming across with so many new terms. Please ask me questions. I do not mind answering them even 100 times. Not a problem at all. Clear? So what was the need for me to talk for more than 5 to 10 minutes only on this? It is just for you to know that the company code is the most essential organizational element in the financial organizational structure in SAP. All your transactions or whatever you do, whether be it entering a journal voucher, be it a customer invoice, be it a vendor invoice, whatever you do, you have the company code as the starting point. You will understand the meaning of my statement when we start doing on things on the live SAP system. Clear? So this is about the company code. Just like your company code became the base for your financial activities, what you see as controlling area 1, controlling area 2 becomes the basic structure on which your management accounting activities they start. Similarly, your plant. So your plant becomes the basic creation as far as the SAP procurement module, that is your module, as well as your production planning module, they start. So this becomes the base for the SAP modules to start. What is an operating concern? I am skipping this on purpose, but if you just want me to tell you what an operating concern is, I will definitely tell you. Though not all the projects are going to use this operating concern, then why is it included in the organizational structure? This is for us to have a complete organizational structure as far as the finance module is concerned. But I also made a statement that may or may not be all the projects are going to use this concept of operating concern. Why is that? So for now, please understand this concept of operating concern, okay, is the basic building block for a specific function in the controlling or in the management accounting side. There is something called as cost and profitability analysis as a sub module in your management accounting module, in your CO module. I hope you're able to understand and connect what I'm trying to tell you. Just like we had GL, we had AR, AP, asset accounting in the finance side, we also have something called as the cost and profitability analysis in the management accounting module or in your CO module. So only when the client or the X Limited, I will start using X Limited now, because X Limited is the place where SAP is going to be implemented. So now X Limited may not want to have this concept of cost and profitability analysis. So I will not be even talking about the operating concern. So because why I would not want to talk about operating concern? I don't want to complicate issues. That's it. It is because it formed a part of this particular graph. I'm telling you what is this operating concern, and it is good for you to know. Good to know factor. That's all. You don't have to know anything more than this. Clear? Now can you see the definition? What is a client? It is a logical space within the R3 system. It is a space allocated to a specific user to work on the SAP system. Clear? What is a company code? The smallest organizational element or the unit in the finance side of SAP for which you can draw independent financial statements. So I will add another statement to this. Whatever in your business, whenever you're trying to understand the business of X Limited, whichever unit is drawing the financial statements, it could be your profit and loss account, it could be your trial balance, it could be your balance sheet. At what level are you drawing these statements? That qualifies to be a company code. As simple as that. Don't worry. It could be confusing. It could be not understood. Absolutely no worries. You can ask me questions. No problem. I'll try my best to keep things as simple as possible so that the concept is understood. I will not talk about the business area. I will not talk about the cost center. We saw something called as a plant, correct? In the logistics module, what is the logistics module? It is a combination of your purchasing, say, selling, whatever, production, whatever. A place where your production takes place, a place where your final product is produced, or goods and services are delivered. That becomes the plant. See, according to the production, procurement, maintenance. So can you see that so many modules are involved? Your plant maintenance module of SAP is involved. Your production planning module of SAP is involved. Correct? So please do not worry about the other terms because they are typical to the modules. I came to this particular slide just to give you more information about what is called as a plant. That's all. Because you saw that plant. Or else I would not have explained as to what is a plant. So your logistics module kickstarts with some basic structure or the basic element called as a plant. Don't worry, I can revisit this particular topics again and again, not once, not twice, but any number of times, as long as it is understood clearly and properly. See, though you may not be working on the other modules, but if somebody tomorrow you become after this course, somebody talks to you about what is a plant, what would you tell them? Or somebody discussing amongst themselves. They may not necessarily question you. They may be talking between themselves about a plant, storage location, shipping points, delivery points. So you should be in a position to at least know the basic structure. See the storage location, shipping point, they are typical to the SD module. They are typical to the sales and distribution module, and it is not essential for you to know or to have expert knowledge about what is a storage location, how does it work in SAP, nothing. You don't have to do it. What is a purchasing organization? See, all these things are the responsibility of the other modules. Okay, so you have various other things created by the other modules. So you are not concerned about it. Rather, at least for the initial moments, but good to know. As and when you put in your experience in your SAP career, it is good to know, and it becomes some points in time, it becomes inevitable. You may have to also give your expert advice on these particular topics. See, the nature of work in SAP is such that it will drive you to learn all this. I don't have to sit and teach you. The circumstances you will definitely face situations where you will have to upgrade your skills on a hourly basis or even a minute to minute basis. That is the demand for a specialist consultant. Clear? So the expertise of the consultant comes into picture as to how quickly or how enthusiastically he puts his efforts into learning all these things. Now, slowly, I think you are getting to feel the heat of SAP. Can you see the number of terms what you are coming across? Yeah. So do not worry. I am there. All right. I'll just go back to my Excel sheet. Yes. So now we saw so many things. A client. So for any of the modules, the information of the client becomes very, very critical. mandatory for any module, not only for FI. The FI consultants also have to give this information. The MM consultants also have to give this information. The SD consultants also have to give this information. Anybody who wants to use the SAP system, this is the first information what the person should give. He could be a consultant, he could be an end user also. The end user also will be giving this information to enter into the SAP system. I will just include what is pertaining to my finance module, nothing more. I will not even discuss anything more about any other thing. At the requisite time, I will let you know. Company code. Again becomes mandatory, not only for finance, but more so for finance. Any finance consultant will work giving this as a mandatory information, because what did I say this was? This is nothing but your X limited. For example, in our example, in our discussion, the example which we spoke about, we have assumed that IBM is the implementing company or the consulting company, and X Limited is the beneficiary. Beneficiary in the sense, X Limited is a place where IBM is going to implement SAP. So in my case, X Limited becomes the company code. So why did I say it is mandatory? Now, suppose a user is entering a journal voucher. SAP is already implemented. All right. So where do you think, or rather, let me assume I'm working on multiple projects, project A, project B, project C. So let me assume that project A has company code A, project B has company code B, project C has company code C. So for testing the systems, let me assume that I, as a consultant, want to enter a journal voucher. Did you understand? A simple journal voucher, expense account debit to cash or bank. Now, for which company code, for which business am I entering this journal voucher? SAP should be understanding this, right? So this information I need to provide, or as a matter of fact, every user in the sense, the consultant or any other person using the SAP system must and should give this particular information as to which is the business for which he is carrying out this particular transaction. So this becomes a very, 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 very critical information for the SAP system. Now, who is responsible for creation of this X Limited? Who creates the X Limited company within the SAP system? It is only the finance consultant. Now, did you understand the importance of the finance module? In SAP, the arrangement is such that only and only the finance person will create this company code. Normally, because as I said, I being a finance consultant need not know, good to know, but I need not necessarily or mandatorily know how to create a plan, how to create a sales organization, how to create a storage location. That is not my business. But do I need to know how to create a company code as a finance consultant? My first learning is this. I should, must, and will know how to create a company because that is my job. Clear? Even in the live projects, there will be no other consultant who is expected to create this company. See, probably out of my interest, I also know how to create a plan. But in the project, it is not a mandatory thing for me. I know because I was interested to learn. That's it. But the project will not force me to create a plan. Why? Simple. I am a finance consultant. And who creates a plan in the SAP system? It's either it is normally the production planning people, or maybe even the purchase module will also create this. All right. So this is how the responsibilities move about in the SAP system. So your company code becomes a very, very, very important creation. On top of this, you can have a controlling area. It is normally referred to as a CO area, but not at all mandatory for your financial activities. No doubt we are going to learn what is a controlling area and all other things. You saw something, you saw some slides having cost center, profit center, correct? So that becomes a part of your CO learning. Right? But for learning this particular course or for teaching you this particular course for a finance consultant, this controlling area, or even in your life scenario, the creation of the controlling area may not be mandatory. Why? Because X Limited would tell IBM, please implement one or two modules, FI module and MM module. I will see how my employees are taking to that particular product. And then I will decide whether I need to include the management accounting module also. So my CO implementation or my controlling work may start in the second phase of the project. Okay. So I may do it at a later point in time, only when X Limited is comfortable with the modules which they have already identified as the basic modules. Are you understanding? I think things will get a little complex. Please do not worry about it. So all you need to know in SAP, there is a concept called as organizational structure. And for you to learn the SAP finance from the power user perspective, it is enough for you to know why and how and what is a company code. and taking you into the SAP system. Now, I will show you the place where we entered because I have made a statement that entering the client is a mandatory activity. And what is a client? A client is nothing but a logical space within the SAP system. I will show you by getting into the SAP system now. I think by now you would be comfortable with can somebody please confirm if they're able to see my desktop?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Thank you, madam. Now, this probably some of the people who have attended the earlier sessions, they would be quite familiar as to what this is all about. Launchpad, login pad, GUI. There are a series of steps which you need to follow to bring it onto your system. But once again, if at all, some students, they have already got this on your systems. You do not have to do this activity again. You don't have to carry forward this activity. You don't have to reinstall this particular GUI. Nothing. No, not at all required. Clear? Now, I double click. Now, do you see the SAP systems? I was talking to about the three systems, the three steps. One is the Launchpad. The second one is the SAP system credentials. Can you see this? Some numbers, group ID, server ID. 104.211, some things you're seeing. This is the, you remember the slide yesterday when we were just going through the demo. You saw some SAP system ZME. You remember that? This is nothing but that. How we would bring in the new system into onto your laptop. If at all I'm working on another project, how would I bring in the new SAP system? New item. Can you see this on top left corner? The second option, new item. I click on the arrow below. Connection. The first option, connection. I click there and enter the details. I press enter on my keyboard and it will take me into a place where I need to enter all this data. This is exactly what you are supposed to do. To get hold or to have the authorization to work on the SAP system, you need to first bring in the SAP system on which you are given. Enter all the details. OK. Now, and after having entered, this is how it's going to look like. See, I clicked on the item which I've already brought in, the SAP system which I've already brought in. What is the explanation? ER2. And there it was ZME. In the explanation, in the demo slide, it was ZME. OK, so what I have been given to show it to you people, it is ER2. So I'll be given instructions. I will be getting a mail in this regard. So what I do is I enter all these things and close the system. Now, if I want to enter into the system, can you see that there is something called as a client here? left corner, just below the SAP icon, the place where I'm moving the cursor. This is the client what I was talking to you about. So as you can see, there are so many clients for which I may or may not have the access. It is not that I'll be given access to work on all the clients. No, it is not so. I will be specifically getting a mail regards what is the space allotted to me. So let me assume. So this is a number what I enter. See here it is 200. I don't know if I'm authorized to work on 200. So, but I'm sure that I am given credentials to work on the client 900. Can you see the last thing where I'm moving the cursor? So that is the number what I enter here. And I give my user ID and the password. So this will take me into a system, SAP system. What is the system? ER2. What is that ER2? EME real server. Okay. This is how you have to initially enter into the SAP system. There are certain other steps which I'm going to tell you once we come back from our break. Any questions, madam? Any questions for me?
Just a moment, sir.
Sure, madam. Sure.
It's regarding some login credentials only they are asking.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
I think probably they may want to have another session in that regard, madam.
Yes. Yes. No questions as of now, sir.
Okay. So students, I will give you 2 minutes time just to think about whatever has happened. I know probably it could have been a little on the heavier side, what you have just been seeing. Please try to reassemble all your thoughts.
Sir? Sir? Nagraj sir? So students, that's all for today's session from 11 to 1 p.m. Take a quick break now and be back by 2 p.m. for another session of SAP. Thank you all students. Have a nice day. Meet you at 2 p.m. Okay.